The easiest way for me to swap this bridge out is to just take off the tailpiece. There it is. There it is. Yeah, it doesn't have to be all the way down. Capo holds the springs in place just in case something goes crazy on you. Now we just have to retune and make adjustments and check the intonation. I want the intonation of this bridge set before I take everything off, and also check the height of the strings over the first fret for action. The truss rod does work. I took the cover off just before I did this. Yeah, it's got a little bit of crud in there, but not much. I'll clean it up and I'll black it out like I usually do, because of course the truss rod cover won't go back on. Except for one of the screws, the top screw. Alrighty. Yes, stand by. Well, the nut went well. It was only the upper three that needed a little bit of a touch. The other ones are perfect. I didn't check in the bottom of the slots. I'll do that when I get the strings off. This went perfect. I can get the action I want. I just don't know about any buzzing or high frets. Yep. All over. We're gonna have to check. What's a going on? What's a going on? Let's see. Okay, middle. Let me check that first one. Let me check that first one. Yeah, so the first one's a bit high, right on the end over there. Alright, so we got them. Yep. Lots of them. Yeah. Okay, we got them. So they'll have to be fixed up. I've got the strings off, and as a rule, these were also colored ball ends. Let's see. They seem like they would be Deeeepers, with the gold and the red being the two largest, as opposed to being the two thinnest on the fake ones from what's the name, Orphe. But they were dirty. So, as a rule of thumb, I just kind of like pull on these posts, and one came out like nothing. This one came out like nothing. So, boom. We're going to shim that one and put it back in. We've got that all off. The fretboard really needs a good cleaning. There's a lot of white up along the edges of the frets, which I would normally just take my old toothbrush, just run it along there to get that stuff off. Might have to do it with a cleaner. If it doesn't come. Oh, it's coming. It's not impacted, it's just sitting there close. Like that. That's okay. Oh, one wire stayed in the tailpiece. I did intonate the bridge. I'm going to put a little woody gluey. Should I use the top? Or should I just go inside? Is this open? I don't know. Sometimes it's clogged. No, it's working. And I'll get my persuaders ready. And I kept, little wood shims that I find in other guitars that are just little pieces of wood. And sometimes they actually come out of these holes, like this curved piece. See? So I'm thinking this curved piece should fit in there. Okay. Put that in the wall. It's too tall. It's too tall. I'm going to cut a little bit off. Push her back in there again. Like that. That's all there is to it. That is all there is to it. Simple. That's why I always keep little pieces. You never know when you're going to need a little piece. Oh, I use this to also lubricate the saddles on the roller bridge. I'm interested to know what's underneath the pickup. But I can see the wires from the switch are passing through this cavity. Now usually that's not the case. Usually that happens to go through its own channel. But they didn't do that on this one, or this build. But there is shielding paint in there, and it's clean. Should I put that back together now? I might as well leave that also until later, because I'm going to have to tape it up. These are nickel screws. I'm going to tape that up in order to do the fretboard. The binding goes all the way down to the bottom and around the bottom of the heel. That's nice. This feels a lot like the 335 neck. Alrighty. So we're going to check the straightness of the neck. So because of time constraints, I decided to go for the headstock first, and I took off the collars, and all the posts are fairly stable except for this one. That's definitely a no-go. And inside is caked with the white buffing compound. I'm going to have to take them all off. Actually, this is loose. The screw is not tight because the post is moving. Yeah, it's moving back and forth. Yeah, I'm going to see what I can do about it. I might have one that I can replace that with, and we'll see where we go. Stand by. Well, I looked in my stash to find one that was pretty solid and didn't have slop in it. And then as I started to remove the other ones and try them, even though they're taut, the machining or the mounting between the spindle gear and the worm gear is still got slop. And you can tell by how much there is by that little black thing coming out the top, you see? That's the slop in the worm gear. Just enough that you can turn it back and forth and nothing happens on the shaft. So, as I'm removing these, and I will have to clean out these holes, there's quite a lot of crud. I'm going to see if I can take a picture and put it up. So I'm going through them, and there's one or two that's worth saving that could be used. I went through about 4 sets of this type of butter button, they call them, that I had kept from other guitars, and I found one that was good. And again, this one is not. So now I've got 2 that are good. All the other ones I dismantled, kept the buttons and screws and things, but threw away the main body. Just cluttering up my stash. See, a lot of white powder in the hole. A lot of white powder down inside. Could be cleaned out if it's... No. So too much play on this as well. Now I don't have another set with butter buttons, but I have another set with the standard buttons, which is a brand new set of Music Lily locking tuners, which I guess we're going to go with in this style of 45-degree peg mounting here. Yeah, see, look at, they just, same here, like they do on all guitars. Buddy Jay, he found that today on $1,000 Wolfgang. And see, they really made this good. They got that part right. And when you can hold it between your forefinger and thumb, and you feel it turning, and then you turn it back, and there's an area here where really not much happens. There's a dead zone, and that's because the worm gear is not machined well enough to match with the cog. So we'll keep buttons. I've got a ton of these buttons now. I don't know that I'm ever going to use them, but I got a ton of buttons and no bodies. And I think I'm probably coming to the end of a lot of my guitar work and mods on budget guitars. There's not that many left in the category that I'm willing to go with. Let's see, is this one good enough? It's really close to being good enough. The dead zone is not as much, but there is one. So these pieces of hardware will end up in a stash bag, along with these over here. And we're going to go with these Music Lilies. Now I don't know what the ratio is on these. I've had these around for a while, bought them just in case. And these are nicely built, but they have the different style button. And because of the way these buttons are built, they don't match how they go on the posts. They don't match. You can't interchange these two types, which is too bad, but so sad. But it is what it is. So I've got brushes of varying kinds that I bought. Again, Temu buy, very cheap, to be able to go down inside those holes and get that stuff out of there. And that's what I'm going to do, but it makes a lot of dirt, so I'm going to not do it straight away like that. I'm just going to take one of these round dowels, right, to start off with. I'm just going to push out the major clots. Just push that out. So then all I have to do is the finer bit that's left over with those brushes. So I like this one because it's tapered. I push it in there, you see, it does a good job. It brings it all over the place. That I really need to run my vacuum at the same time. So in order not to annoy everybody, I'm just going to do it myself.